Hello and welcome. I have Riya with me. Riya, congratulations for qualifying your NET exam in 2018. How is this feeling of success that you qualified such a difficult exam?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me today with you in this lovely conversation. Uh, yeah, NET is a difficult exam, but if you practice and if you have the dedication and if you have the aim that you really want to achieve it, I don't think it's impossible. As far as I am concerned, I cracked it only with 3 months of preparation. I am not lying one bit, but the preparation and the hard work which I had put in those 3 months, I don't think I have done it for any other exam in my life. So therefore, I think that if you do something, you get back good results for it. Yeah, and it was definitely a very nice experience to qualify it in the first attempt itself.
So that's a great way of putting it, that if we work hard, nothing is impossible. So tell us more about yourself, Riya. Where are you from and where did you pursue your education?
Yeah, I stay at Howrah, and I come from a middle class family. So I did my schooling from ICSE board and IC board. After that, I got admitted into law. I did my BA LLB honors from the University of Calcutta, and subsequently I did my masters also, that is LLM also, from the University of Calcutta. And while I was doing my LLM, I had this thing in mind that I should do something relating to the academic line, because I was initially practicing law, but I did not find much interest since none of my family is from a lawyer background. So I did not find much interest in the litigation. So I wanted to come into the academic discipline, and as per the rules of UGC, qualifying NET is a must. So after my part 1 examination of LLM, I started looking for preparing for my NET exam. And I wanted to do it with JRF at one go, since I have this thing in mind that I want to proceed further in academics, and therefore PhD is also a requirement. It's a mandatory requirement from 2021. So I had this thing in mind that I have to qualify NET with JRF in the first attempt.
So diving right into your preparation strategy, were you studying while preparing for the exam, and how did you manage your time between paper 1 and paper 2?
Yeah, that's a very important question, Garima, because I think that most of the students neglect paper 1 the most. They think that paper 1 is just carrying 50 questions, 2 marks each, 100 marks. So we are just going to do it later. Let us first focus on our main subject. And what happens subsequently is that they do not get the concepts clear. In paper 1, there are many concepts which are not taught while you are doing your masters. So the concepts have to be very clear. So I want to advise the future examinees that when they are studying or preparing for NET, they must make it sure that they devote at least 2 hours per day to paper 1. That is exactly what I did. In the afternoon schedule, I used to always, the evening and the morning I used to keep for my preparation for my law subject. And in the afternoon, I always used to devote a minimum of 2 to 3 hours to paper 1 each day. And first thing that is necessary is clarifying the concepts. First, you clarify the concepts, then you practice the MCQs, and once you practice, you know which are the areas where you need more reinforcement, where you need more practice. So you get to know your lacunas and your faults, and you work on that subsequently. And I think that helps. I think the strategy for preparation should be, first you understand, first you know the concepts, after that you learn, and then you practice, and then you revise. So there's a constant reinforcement of the things in your memory, so that when you on that particular examination day, nothing goes hodgepodge in your brain. You're clear about what you are answering in your paper.
Very well put, well articulated well. And going into more depth, I would like to ask you which subjects in paper 1 were challenging for you and which were your strengths?
Yeah. For me, I think the challenging part would be, the higher education system where they ask you questions on higher education and some portions of the environment, because normally we tend to know people and environment is a topic which they have in paper 1. Normally the concept of environment which is taught to us in the schools and what they give us in the UGC NET is more or less a bit different. I'm not talking about those who belong to the CBSE boards or those who are coming from the NCRTs or or they have a certain amount, or they might have a certain amount of advantage, but those who are coming from the other boards, like I was a student of the CISC board. So in that case, whatever the syllabus of environment is, I think the UGC asks you on the more recent developments, the more recent factual details. So that must be up to date. Okay, you cannot get hold of a book which is like 5 to 6 years old edition and you think that you know the concepts. That won't help you. Your knowledge should be up to date regarding environment, regarding the higher education policies, and to some extent I would say the research the research topic, the research methodology which is there in the paper, that is also a bit tricky, because there are concepts which ordinarily we do not study or know education field. So that is a bit out of the box. So for that purpose, I think types of research and the research design and how do you go about it, the concepts must be very clear. Yeah.
Very well said, Riya, because some of the things are very new for students, because paper 1 is common across all subjects and we all have different degrees and we face similar kind of.
Yes, and the most important thing, sorry to interrupt Garima, the most important thing about paper 1 is that you have to score a minimum of 40 marks in order that your paper 2 gets evaluated. So that's why I think paper 1, scoring for paper 1 is very important. And moreover, it brings up your percentile as well. Not only it serves as a cutoff for your paper 2, but it also helps to increase your percentile, overall percentile. So paper 1 should not be neglected. Whatever your main subject is, please devote at least 2 to 3 hours to paper 1 every day. Yeah, that's what I will suggest from my part.
So before we conclude, if you had to point out one mistake that students do while preparing for this exam, apart from what we've talked about, what would that mistake be?
Most students I have seen my friends, when they were preparing, they had a very different strategy, which I feel is very wrong. What they do, they purchase books from the market. I am not defaming anybody or I'm not defaming any particular book, but I'm just talking about the strategy, the methodology of preparation. Now here, what they used to do, they used to buy books from the market and they just used to solve the MCQs which are given in the book, and they used to think that is going to be sufficient for the preparation. They just used to base their preparation on the MCQs given at the end of a particular book. Now, a book or a particular exercise of MCQ is never sufficient for such a difficult and high priority exam. So in that case, I feel that whatever subject you're preparing for, other than for paper 1, I'm talking about paper 2 as well, you need to know the topics very nicely from your textbook. First, you refer a good textbook, you know the topics, whatever is there in your syllabus, correlate and study them. And after that, you solve the MCQs of the previous year question papers of NET. And if there are any exercises from any other book, any other reference book, you can obviously, take them as a reference. But you should not just base your your preparation on the books which are available in the market. A textbook, a proper textbook, will give you the most detailed information regarding a particular topic. That is not served by any kind of a local book. Like for Human Peritus, I would say the books which I got for paper one, there the concepts are beautifully explained. I have also referred to three other books of paper one, but I can tell you without a doubt that Human Peritus, the standard of explanation, is very much co-linked with the standard of the paper which you face in the examination. If you go through the past year papers and if you look at the sets, I think Human Peritus provides the sets, 5 sets of papers they provide for practice. So the questions over there are very standard, of a very standard quality, and the explanations to each of the answers is also given beautifully. So what you are answering and how you are preparing, that strategy I think should be planned out before you chalk out any competition exams.
I hear you, and I totally agree with you that choosing the right material and preparing and practicing the previous year questions is very, very important, and we shouldn't be compromising on that.
Yes.
And thank you, Riya, for talking to us. It was lovely talking to you, and thank you for taking out time and doing this with us.
Same here, same here. It was a pleasure to meet you and to talk with you.